Okay, here we go. This should be official, and assuming everything works, I should be live. You shouldn't be seeing me just yet because I'm at the control computer at this moment. But, excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. This is the first, pardon me, well, I clean my schnoz. Whoops, I gotta turn myself off. There we go. So it's the first official stream here in the studio with the new streaming PC, which means things shouldn't melt down on me when I'm running two cameras. Now today I'm only running one camera. This camera is going to be my second angle, but I'm not using it today because this is just kind of a get started stream. Hello Christian, good to have you here. I see Tim is also here as well, which is awesome. And what I'm doing today is building a set. And I've got newspaper, I've got spray adhesive, and I've got pieces of foam core, or not foam core, but foam insulation. So, what do you guys think I'm going to be doing here? It should be pretty easy to figure out, but I'll let you take a stab at it in the chat. And in the meantime, I need to check and see how my sound is. I think my mic should be leveled out pretty good, but if you guys could just let me know super fast if I sound okay or if my levels are peaking or whatever, that would be awesome. And right now I'm going to give you guys the wide view. Hey Sandy, how's it going? This is one of the cool things. I've got this set up. That mic is cool, awesome. With a second monitor here with the chat, and I zoomed in so the words are really big so I can actually read your guys' chat while I'm messing around and doing this stuff. So what I'm doing right now is constructing what's typically called a V-flat. And a V-flat is just a V-shaped, usually it's used to block and or control light. Now, I'm not going to be using light. You need to flag the ceiling light in the upper left. A tinny bit of peaking. Okay. I will tweak. Hold on just a moment. You're talking about this light right here, huh? Let me just adjust the camera angle a titch for you guys to kind of get rid of that light entirely. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Just a half sec here. I'm just going to tweak my levels just a teeny tiny bit. As far as the tinniness goes, one of the things that I need to do is put together some diffusion panels for here in the studio. And I am going to be doing that, but that's something that I haven't gotten around to just yet. Perfect, excellent. Okay, good, good, good. So I'm making a V-flat, which typically is used to control light, block light from going where you don't want it to go, and or reflect light into areas that you want to reflect it into. Hello, Spyros 2 from Greece. Thank you for joining. That's awesome. I love meeting other Spyroses. It's awesome. It's super fun. I know it's a pretty common name in Greece, but here in the United States, or at least here in Wisconsin where I live, my name Spyros is not a super common name, so it tends to stick out a little bit, and it's always nice to meet additional Spyroses. So this V-flat is actually going to be my backdrop for the shoot. It's not going to be used to control light, but rather to hold my backdrop material, which if you haven't guessed by now is going to be the newspapers. So what I'm going to be doing is constructing this V-flat and then gluing newspaper all over it. Pardon me. I'm cutting this one in half because I want 6-foot edges on my V-flat so that there's enough room to fully encompass Angela when she's posing during the shoot. So I bought 3 foam core boards, and I'm cutting this one in half, and I will tape it to the other 4-foot foam core boards, and then That'll give me my 6-foot panels. Now I'm just trying to find my cut line. And here we go. And I'm going to use Gorilla Tape, the super extra thick. It's like 1.5 inch, 2 inch wide Gorilla Tape to assemble the V-flat. All right. Can you get those large egg holders for 144 eggs? They do a lovely job at baffling sound. That's something that I've tried to get, but I haven't really been able to get those very easily. What I have, Vincent, is a bunch of fabric, and I have every intention of actually making the panels, but I just haven't had the time to yet. So that's the main issue. And I am looking for alternatives, something like the egg flats or anything else like that that might be easier. If I find an easier solution, I will use those instead. Sorry for this bit here while I cut. There we go. Okay, so these are cut in half. Thank you, Spyros. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that very much. That means a lot to me to hear that. All right. So now what's happening here is I'm going to tape these two together right along this seam, and that's going to create panel number 1. I shouldn't need this anymore. And then I'll do the same thing, panel number 2, and then I'll tape them in the middle, which will give me the actual V. Hello, Jeff. Welcome from Wisconsin. So I'm going to put my knife over here for right now, and I'm going to take off my sweater because I'm kind of warm. And when I do that, I'm going to have to put my mic back on. So bear with me for just a moment while I resituate myself. When it comes time to glue, I'm actually going to turn off the heat in my studio because I'm using the spray glue stuff, which is pretty flammable. I don't really want to blow up the studio. Okay, there we go. Just got the mic clip back in. And Gorilla Tape is over here. I got this. Where's my fresh roll? I bought a fresh roll of Gorilla Tape. There it is. And if you guys want, when it comes time to do the gluing, I can actually change the lens on the camera and zoom it in tighter on me. Right now I'm going to use the 8mm just to give you guys the wide shot of everything that I'm doing here. And as always, questions are welcome. I got a question for you guys though. What's everybody up to this weekend? Tonight, my wife and I are going over to my father-in-law's house. We're going to have dinner over there. I'm going to make some homemade pizza, which will be nice and tasty. Tomorrow, hey, Angela. I didn't see you had come into the chat. Always good to have you here. Tomorrow my wife and I are both getting massages. We were supposed to get our massages last Thursday, but the massage therapist actually slipped and fell on some ice and hurt herself and asked if we could reschedule the massage. So we did. All right. And this is fun because this is like the other side of photography and photo shoots and stuff, right? Like the fun, the glamour is, clickety clackety clickety, I'm on set, I'm shooting, I'm taking the photos, right? But sometimes this is I wouldn't say this is unglamorous, but this is the part of photo shoots that people don't always think about, which is like the materials you need for your sets, if you're creating a set, and all those kinds of things. Vincent says, I got those little lenses for the smartphone the other day. Only one of use is the macro. I like the wide angle ones too, Vincent, but I agree, like the macro one is probably most useful, but I also do like the wide angle one for, trying to find my roll of tape that I just dropped, for getting a wider angle on your phone lens when you want one. The sort of middling lens, I find that one kind of pointless. I think I'm missing some of your chat. I think it's scrolling up too fast for me to see everything because I've got it so big on the chat window. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over and tape the other side. And the reason I'm using this board, this insulation board, is because it's cheap and I don't need massive structural integrity for this particular photo shoot and for this particular background. Hello, Jose. How you doing? Hello from Wisconsin. Good to have you joining us from Portugal. Because you guys, those of you who watched the photo shoot we did with Otto Ott, where we had the cyber wall behind me, all of those circuit boards were pretty heavy in aggregate, and so I needed something with structural integrity to actually hold everything and not fall down on people. Whereas this, whoops, that's the end of this roll, which is why I got another roll waiting for me. This isn't going to fall because the V shape of it's going to hold itself up. And even if it does fall, it's not going to hurt anybody because it's just super light foam insulation. And this unsightly black tape will be covered. Ooh, Sandy, you were born in Portugal? That's cool. I was actually born right here in Wisconsin. I was born in Madison, Wisconsin. And I've kind of spent, I mean, not kind of, I have spent my whole life in Wisconsin. All right. Okay, so that's one flat section. And I'm going to pick it up and just set it against the wall here and tape section number 2. Hello, Mark. Mark MC, how's it going? How are you? Have waited to thank you for the critique you did on your channel. You made me feel like a pro. Then I missed your other live feed as I live in the UK. That's okay. The live feed, I mean, obviously you don't have to. You're welcome to rewatch the live feeds if you want because they stay up on my channel. But I'm glad you appreciated the critique and found it helpful because I always want them to be helpful. So that's cool. And thank you for taking the time to let me know that. I appreciate that as well. I just started working out again after 3 months off because of flare-up in my left knee. And boy, am I weak and winded after my workouts. We were talking about it a little bit on Photoblab on Wednesday, and I'm better, not nearly as sore as I was even just yesterday, but my legs are still pretty weak, which is kind of amusing. Let's see, not the mainland. I was born on a tiny little island in the Azores. Awesome. That's really cool. Oh, somebody just sent me a message. Not sure who. But I will take a quick look in case it's something important. It could be my wife. That's the one message I don't want to miss. And I'm going to actually turn the heat down too because I'm a little toasty as it is. All right. You think Swedes in Wisconsin and Laura Ingalls, not so much the sons of Zeus. This is true. This is true, but Milwaukee, Wisconsin actually has a pretty big Greek community. And Madison has a decent Greek community as well. Not that I'm part of them, because I'm not. My dad grew up in Milwaukee, but I grew up in the Madison area, and we weren't like super steeped in the Greek stuff, right? Like, I mean, I know I'm Greek, but outside of that, I don't really know a ton about my Greek heritage. I don't see my family all that much. So yeah, I guess that is what it is, which is whatever. So Saturday massages, I'm looking forward to that, especially after working out. And then Sunday, I am I am going to be working on my video course. Oh, and Sunday afternoon, I'm excited about this. Tim, who's in the chat right now, hanging out with us, is going to be helping me out with some automation. Whoops, I only got part of what I wanted there. Hello, Selim. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Thank you for joining us today. All right, so I need to rip this little bit off because that's what didn't come. Hello, Lainey. Hello, hello. This is my first time live watching video from Lemonade. Oh, that's really fantastic. Thank you so much again for joining us. I really appreciate it. And for anybody who's new to the stream, questions about anything photography related or anything in general are more than welcome. So if you want to ask away. I'm happy to answer questions about anything. Oh, I gotta get a water. Is the feed going in and out with everyone else? I hope not. Sousa is in fact a Portuguese surname. Angela's having issues as well. Let me check my status on my control panel here. Give me just a moment. My software looks fine. My stream status tells me it's good. So I have to apologize, but whatever the issue might be with the stream cutting in and out, I don't see anything here that I have control over or can change. Okay, so water is life, right? Keep the water away from the computer, making sure the heat's off. Again, apologizing for the stream cutting in and out for those of you who have that happening. Now it's time for some newspaper. And my plan here is to cover this with newspaper. Yep, yes, I'm seeing feed problems. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm going to take a look at the feed myself. So give me just a minute here. Hey, Candy. No need to apologize. Never a need to apologize. The vagaries of live streaming are always fun, right? So just making sure that I'm muted. Tim says he's having caching issues on the stream. Oh, this is weird. So is what you guys seeing is like a half. It's been very choppy. All right. Well, I got to tell you guys, hold on, let me run, okay. Let me run a speed test. Unfortunately, there have been some internet issues with my internet provider. It shouldn't be, yeah, of course, I'm getting crap internet right now from my provider, which is super frustrating. My down speed is 5 megabits per second, which is not cool. If my up speed is decent, that should make for an okay stream, but, you know, this is going to be something that's beyond my control. Oh, yeah. My up speed is just as bad. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to apologize and let you guys know that the stream issues that I'm having are my internet service provider, and I'm not going to be able to do anything about that. I actually already have a support ticket open from them. I did a speed test before I started the stream, And at that time, I was actually running decent up and down speeds, well enough for the stream. But they've been having problems for like 2 weeks now, is what they told me when I called them, and they're obviously still having a problem here. So we're just gonna have to deal with it as is. And again, I apologize for that. But newspaper time. This should actually go fairly quickly, I think. I mean, I don't really know, but I've got a bunch of newspaper. I'm gonna cover this one, and then join them together with some tape and plaster some more over the tape line so that you don't see that seam. So this is it. So what does this say? Let's see, direction. Shake well before using. Adhesive and materials should be between blah, blah, blah. Clean and dry. These are dry enough and clean enough. Turn spray, so this black dot is hold can vertical. Spray from a distance of 8 to 10 inches. Keep the can moving. Apply, let's see, apply a medium coat. Allow to dry to tack and join. All right. So spray and then stick. Whoops, I got to move the comments back so I can see what you guys are saying. Mine is choppy as well. We'll deal with it. Yeah, thank you guys. As always, I appreciate your patience and understanding with the technical issues. It would be awesome if the internet just worked, but obviously that's not going to be the case. Probably now or ever. So, yeah. Here we go. Got to spinny that around. And put down a coating. And I don't know how long it takes to let it dry to tack and then join, but that's tacky. All right, this is it. Boom. Now, I'm not going for like a clean pattern. I'm going to be overlapping and like covering and whatnot like this. So it's not, so it's supposed to look like chaotic and you know, just newspaper everywhere, right? So that's kind of what I'm going for. I'll set down a base and then just kind of keep going and keep going. But this is job for the day. I can feel the adhesive getting in my arm hairs, which is kind of amusing. I'll probably have to take another shower after this. I took a shower after I worked out, and I also had to go to, I had to drive to my father-in-law's to borrow, Christian, I apologize too much. You know, I know that, actually. People have told me that, Christian, and I guess I can't, I mean, I'm not going to say I can't help it because I can. It's something that I probably need to work on, the whole apologizing all the time thing. So yeah, maybe that'll be my goal for the week. I'll stop apologizing this week. No more apologies. Deal with it. Ooh, got some Trump pictures right here. Not making any comments on that one way or the other. We don't need to bring up politics. You know, I was going to do some reading about something because I wanted to chat about it with you guys, but I forgot to read it up, so I'm not going to talk about it. And I'm not going to apologize for it either. How do you guys like this angle? Do you want me to change the lens and zoom it in so you can see tighter what I'm doing, or is this okay for you guys? That's something you can tell me. I'm going to pop a quick shot of this on Instagram, on my story. Oh, hey, I got a question for you guys. What do you guys think of the stories thing showing up in every freaking app in the world, right? It starts with Snapchat, of course, and then Instagram appropriated it, WhatsApp added it, Facebook has now added it to Messenger, and Facebook is testing it in the main app and is probably going to be rolling it out in the main app. What do you guys think of this stories thing showing up everywhere? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I'll share my thoughts in a moment, but let me Instagram this first. Okay, Instagram, the build is in progress. Here's where I am so far, and if you can't guess, I'm gluing newspapers down to create a backdrop. Join us on the YouTube channel. Your story, send it. Let's see. I get told the same all the time, but it figured better to be friendly than considerate than others. Yeah. I actually don't have a smart TV that can spy on me, like one of those Samsungs or Vizios or anything, Vincent. But I have considered putting tape over my webcams. Ooh, the stream is smoothing out. That's good. How about the app Signal not being safe either? Well, that's something interesting. Hey, Shetty, how's it going? Tim says, my sister does one almost daily. I rarely look. Nothing wrong with them, but not my thing. So my understanding with that Signal issue, and I was talking to a couple of InfoSec people that I know, information security people that I know on Twitter about this. My understanding is that this vulnerability that they're talking about in the Signal app is contingent on physical access to the device. Because what's happening is that the app itself and the app's encryption is not actually compromised. Rather, by having some malware installed on the device, they're capturing the text or video or audio or photo or whatever before it's being encrypted and sent by the app. So the headlines you're seeing for that are kind of misleading because Signal itself hasn't really been compromised. But if you have a device that's compromised, then Signal is technically compromised because anything you put into Signal can be read by and captured by the device, and then the malware on the device and sent back to whatever the nefarious party is. So that's kind of how I read that. Spyros, use a pillow for your knees when you're working on the ground. Eleni, check it out. Built-in knee pads. It's like kneeling on a cloud. That's why I'm wearing these particular pants. These things have saved my knees for years, and I love them to death. That's why I'm not using a pillow, because I don't need one, because I have one built into my pants. If you need pants like these, you can buy them. The company is called Skillers, Skillers, and these are the best pants for work ever because they save your knees, and it's wonderful. Now you notice I'm being sloppy with the edge up top here, and that's because it doesn't matter if it's perfectly even with the top, because it's just going to go up against the ceiling, and I don't really care. So that's why I'm kind of just whatever. And I'll do the same along the edges too, although I might not necessarily. I got to figure out how to tape along the edges, so I'm kind of leaving that edge for last. This is going to be outside edge, so I'm just going to, plaster along that as well and let it be wherever it is. I considered like a glue versus a spray adhesive because of the flammability of this stuff, but then I was like, I'll just turn off my heater and I should be okay. Look at that. There's a camera ad right here in the newspaper. I do want to get over here. Yeah, for Signal, it's definitely a pre-encrypt, but it could actually, to my understanding, happen by installing any number of other apps. Cardboard works good to kneel on. Yeah, it does, kneeling on a cloud. Smart. Yeah, that's my understanding too, but not to try to make one sound better than the other, but my understanding is you're less likely to have that app problem if you're using an iOS device than if you are using an Android device because of the approval process of the App Store versus the the Google Play Store. Now, again, I'm not trying to bang on Android at all, but rather just to say that there's been more malware found on the Android Play Store than there has been on the iOS Store, although there has been malware on the iOS Store. So don't take this as me saying that, you know, iPhones are perfectly safe and free of that sort of thing, because the truth is they're not. So you got to be smart about what you're installing, that's for sure. All right, that's about as close as I'm going to get to the edge there. I'll give you that as well. iPhone would be safer than Android. Shetty, like, this is the backdrop for the next live photo shoot. By the way, guys, if you didn't see it on my YouTube channel, the next live photo shoot has been scheduled. It is going to be March 24th. And it's Angela, of course, because she's my partner in these live shoots. And I am super excited for it. So I'm going to fold that back like so, and then flatten all the rest of this down. And just keep gluing, just keep gluing. I feel like I'm Dory. That's it, Dory. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep gluing, just keep gluing. Whoop, whoop. When Darwin was the rage, an ally we abandoned. Anybody still read the newspaper? The Instagram hasn't hit. It's the Instagram, I put it in my, did I actually add it to my Instagram story? I think I did. I didn't put it on the main Instagram feed, Vincent. I put it in my Instagram story. Sorry about that. Because I like to keep my Instagram feed only, yeah, it's in my Instagram story. I like to keep my feed just my photos. Wow, I'm starting to get really sticky from this glue. What time is it anyway? I just had my phone out. I could have looked. That was silly. All right. Energy-saving, moisture-resistant XPS insulation. I'm editing my first shoot with the D810. The focusing system on this thing is unreal. That is cool. That is super cool to hear, Christian. The D810 is a phenomenal camera. And quite frankly, I would not say no to working with one if somebody wanted to give me a D810. But of course, I'm also very, very happy with my Micro Four Thirds, with my Olympus. I was initially going to try to make these nice and flat too and smooth, but then I was like, yeah, right, that's a fool's errand. Look at how black my fingers are getting from the ink and the glue. I got so much more newspaper than I actually needed, which is good. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Ooh. I just pulled up some newspaper. Oh, goodness. Because I've got two of these, and I'm also going to make a floor piece. Now, like I said earlier, I probably won't end up making the floor piece today, and I'm going to be using a board for the floor piece instead of this stuff, because that will allow Angela to wear heels, if she's planning to wear heels, for wardrobe on that. I'll just cover up that spot that I tore out with another sheet of newspaper, like so. Boppity boop, 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 boop. The glue is sticking. Yeah, sucking the ink right off the paper, exactly. Ooh, it's 1 a.m. in India. Holy smokes. You are up late, Shetty-like. Or very early, depending upon how we're looking at it, I suppose. I got 2 bottles of this spray glue. I'm imagining that will be enough for me to at least do the job that I'm doing today. Sports section. Did I ask you guys, does anybody here still read like an actual newspaper? I used to, but I don't anymore. I get my news off of the internet. Ooh, I want the other side of this. I'm trying to minimize the color. I don't want like, I mean, some color is okay, but I'm trying to kind of minimize it a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna flip over to the other side there. Also in low light, wow, I bet. Hello, Feather Photo. Hello, Feather Photo. All right. Just gonna scoot this over this way. And once I have this first layer down, I'm gonna add more to the top just to kind of, again, create a craziness to the pattern. No, I don't like the smell or the ink on my hands, right? I don't bother with the newspaper or the MSM. I'm not sure what MSM. Hey, Emmanuel, how's it going? I used to work in a printing factory, Sandy. And because of that, like my boogers, for about 10 years, my boogers, my snot was persistently like black because I worked on a printing press and I was literally breathing ink, which I'm sure is great for my health and my lungs and stuff. So yeah, there's that. But I'll tell you what, I liked printing. I liked working in the printing industry. It was pretty cool. And it's an amazing thing to be able to, you know, have this machine that allows you to put these images down onto paper in mass quantities. But boy, is it messy. Printing is a messy, messy job, but fun. I had a blast with my Victoria shoot, Shell Lyerson. That's awesome. That's very cool. Candy, can you shoot me a link to Shell, by the way? I meant to ask you that the other day and I forgot. The reason I'm asking is because I was trying to find her and I couldn't. And so I was hoping you could shoot me her link just so I could check out more of her work. Oh, mainstream media. Yep, right there with you on that, Tim. Like the Wall Street Journal and their hatchet job on PewDiePie. Regardless of what you might think about PewDiePie himself, that was definitely some terrible actual journalism that was performed by the Wall Street Journal on that particular article that they did. Anybody who watches PewDiePie? Any of you guys watch PewDiePie? I plasti dipped one of my cars blue. I had blue snot for a week. Yep. Yep. Yeah, plasti dip. That sounds interesting. Oh, and you know what, guys? So, I don't know, some of you might remember I was working on a 3D printing project. It probably started working on this thing about a month or two ago. And I was able to get back in and start working on it again. And I'm super excited by the way it's coming out. More excited with some ideas I have for printing things for me for photography purposes. There's a couple things I'm thinking about making, like some DIY lenses, some actual lenses, and then some adapters for like mounting things, stuff like that. So I like 3D printing. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of in the near future. Thanks for the tip. I broke my knee a couple years ago. No problem. I used to work in the body shop. Prior knowledge of not inhaling all of that shit. You got to wonder what it does to you. Yeah, I can't even imagine what it does to you over time. I'm sure it's awful. Because it's just, you know, I mean, it's crap going into your lungs. I mean, the one small consolation to me in that printing factory was that the ink that we used was all soy-based, like natural ink. It's P-E-W, PewDiePie, Vincent, is P-E-W-D-I-E-P-I-E, and that's all one word, P-E-W-D-I-E-P-I-E, and he is literally the #1 YouTuber. He has some 54 million subscribers, and he does, a lot of what he does is video game play, which some people think is stupid. But I don't tend to watch the video game stuff just because that's not necessarily something I'm terribly interested in watching. But he does other videos as well, which I find both interesting and amusing depending upon what particular thing he's making the video about on that particular day, whatever it might be. All right, more newspaper. And again, I'm leaving this blank here so that I can first tape together these pieces, and then then I'll cover up that seam. Let's see, Selim says, what is the best lens for portrait photography on the D5300? Selim, what you should start with is probably, it depends on what you want to spend, but a good portrait lens is a 50mm f1.8. That's great for doing headshots. Lots of photographers use that for portraiture. Another option is getting an 85mm lens. That's a little bit longer, but that's also really good. With the 50mm, you can get away with both headshots. I guess this one's going there. And you can also do fuller length stuff when you step back. But if you want something that's tighter for headshot work, an 85mm is a really great option. Now, that all being said, the majority of my portraits, I actually shoot with my 17, well, for you, it would be the 17 to 50mm f2.8 lens. Hey, Crichton, how's it going? So, because like for me, the workhorse is the 17 to 50mm f2.8 for a D5300. I used that for years when I had my Canon 60D, the 60D, the crop censored one. And with my Olympus, I use my 12 to 40mm f2.8, and that's my portrait workhorse. When I'm doing headshots, I switch to a longer focal length, but I shoot a lot of full-length stuff, so the wider angle actually works for me. If you're doing like 3/4 and up, the 50mm, that's the way to go. Okay, I got to get that back corner there. I'm deliberately avoiding like the advertisements and stuff like that because I don't want to use that stuff. But this is coming out nicely. Very nicely. I'm very happy with this. I'm going to move this up a bit, try to minimize the amount of spray that can hit my computer itself. By the way, I'm super pleased with this computer because of the setup and what I'm doing with it now. Like, my CPU demand is so low that I don't even have to worry about it melting like my other computer was, which is awesome. That was the problem we were having before with the other live streams. Out here, Southwood County Historical Museum. That's the competing museum. I say competing lightly in my town. We actually have 2 museums in my town here where I live. You know, I should have brought more of the spray adhesive. I said I thought it'd be enough, but it actually feels like it might not be. I could probably go a little lighter on it though too. Have you offered any hints on this shoot? I have not offered any hints yet. If you ever happen to visit your Origins, don't forget your camera. My next lens will be the Canon 135mm f2 for full-length portraits with amazing background blur. Yes, Sandy, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the photos you take with that lens. That lens is super dreamy and super amazing for portraits. You're going to love it. When I was shooting Canon, that was a lens that I wanted to get for a long time. And I never ended up getting it, and then I switched away from Canon. And now I've got the 40 to 150mm f2.8 on my Olympus, and I love that lens. That's a really, really wonderful lens. No problem, Selim. Oh, I see the, yeah, they did a total hatchet job on them. Total hatchet job. And it's not to say that what they were pointing out in his videos was untrue, but the problem was they took everything completely out of context and turned it into a hatchet job and undermined anything that they might have been trying to accomplish by just, you know, making things fit what they wanted it to fit rather than objectively, you know, talking about what he was doing and discussing it within that context. Because if they would have done that, then I think we could have had a better conversation about the use of that kind of imagery and things like that, rather than it turning into the the Wall Street Journal is on a vendetta against PewDiePie, and the actual context of things totally got just lost and left out. If that makes any sense. Okay, this is all advertisements. I don't want any of that garbage. There we go. Let's grab this here. So I'm just going to kind of, this panel is pretty much done. I'm personally not a fan of PewDiePie at all, but he didn't have the intent that was presented. Exactly. I just got the 100 millimeter 2.8L, so I have to let the dust settle a bit before I can get it. Yeah, I totally understand that. That lens is a nice lens as well, that macro lens. So I think I just want to, like I said, plaster some more kind of around the middle and through some of this, just to kind of give it an even more layered look than it already has. I think that looks pretty good. Yep, I'm good. Okay, this panel is done. So I'm going to just lift it up like so and set it off out of the way over here and lay the next one down. Yes. Spouse settle, right? Yeah, letting the spouse settle is a good idea. All right, and I'm trying to be careful with this so I don't damage it. And again, this is going to be my outer edge, that's going to be my inner edge, so that one I'm going to keep that gap before I layer everything together. Just look at how foul my hands are. This is gross. I need to take another drink of water and take a peek at the time. Excuse me. It is 1:47. We're making good time here. I think I'll finish this and probably be able to tape these together by the end of today's stream, which will be pretty cool. Ugh, that's so gross. All right, here we go. Bring this back. All right. There we go. I'm trying not to crawl on it too because I don't want to put too much pressure on this thing and damage it, you know what I mean? Okay, I meant to ask you guys this earlier, and I just remembered now. Is anybody watching the OA on Netflix or the show Travelers, also on Netflix? These are two shows that my wife and I started watching, and we haven't watched any episodes lately, but I'm really enjoying those two shows. They're really interesting, really good. And they're sci-fi type shows, which is awesome, but they're not like Battlestar Galactica sci-fi, you know what I mean? Not that that's bad. In fact, Battlestar Galactica, I know a lot of people really love that. I never actually watched Battlestar Galactica, but I know it's a pretty popular show. At any rate, just curious if any of you guys have ever watched it. Either of those two shows, and if you have, what you think. The OA is probably the one that I I don't know if I should say more interested in, or that I feel has a more compelling story, but they're both really cool. Travelers is this idea of time travelers coming back and trying to prevent some craziness in the future. And that's like sort of evocative of Terminator, right? But it's definitely not Terminator in its approach to this idea at all. It's not. Ooh, look at that. Desperate Housewives. I used to watch Desperate Housewives long time ago. Limitless. I'm not familiar with that one. What's it about, Christian? Okay, there we go. I think I need to change where I'm standing so I can see the chat because it's passing a little too quickly in some cases. And I'm obviously having problems because I keep pulling the nozzle right out of the can with my sticky-ass finger. I think it's just going to be a thing that I do now. I should have made that go right over the edge, but I didn't, so I'll just have to do something like this. And then every time. This is clearly going to be an issue until I burn through the rest of this can. Limitless was good, but then I thought it was starting to get too silly. OA had some nudity, if I recall. More difficult to watch with a 10-year-old. Nudity is fine. But if it's context that we're never 100% with. Oh, yeah. I need to start watching Legion. I can't remember. I think OA did have some nudity, but it wasn't like, it wasn't nudity for nudity's sake. It was nudity because the story called for it. And I totally get that, that kind of context is important to understand when you've got a child that you're watching a show with like this. So I think OA is totally worth checking out if it's something that you can watch with your kids. All right, I gotta grab some more and get up to the top. I like watching a series at one time. I do too, but then I sometimes get a little sad because you watch it all through and then boom, it's done and you got nothing to watch after that. So sometimes watching it all at once makes me a little bit sad. All right, let's get this up over here. Remove that box. First clip was just naked, but the romance scenes, etc., that he's not ready for. Okay. I'm trying to remember. We're like 3 or 4, maybe 5 episodes into the OA, so I'm not sure. Like, we didn't see the romance scenes yet, I don't think, in the OA, so I can't really comment on them. Oh, and Riverdale. The OC. See, I never watched the OC, but I am totally watching Riverdale, and I am loving Riverdale. And I typically don't like those kinds of Riverdale type shows, which is, like teen drama sort of thing. But man, is it totally good. Let's do this one right here. One of the things I had to do is cut these. You like the motorbike builders? Not OCC. Orange County Choppers. Yeah, that show isn't on anymore, is it, Tim? I don't think it is. I know that I had some friends that used to like watching Orange County Choppers. I watched a few episodes of it, but it was never something like that I had to watch, This is like really sticking to me. I'm trying to like roll my finger off of it so I can have it. Okay, I'm going to slide this over here now. Yeah, Riverdale is something we're watching. It's a little too teeny for me. It is fun. I have a problem when I'm shooting outdoors. At 12 a.m., I'm obligated to put my exposure to f/16 and ISO to 100 and shutter speed dwarf 1/4000, but I cannot have a blurry background. What is the solution? So Selim, in that point, at that point, what's happening essentially is it's just too bright. And because it's too bright, you're shooting, at f/16, and that f/16 is what's giving you that not shallow depth of field. It's giving you that greater depth of field that you don't like. So your only solution for that is going to be to probably have to use like an ND stop, or an ND filter. I'm sorry, not an ND stop. An ND filter is like sunglasses for your lens. And what it will do is allow you to open that aperture up so that you can get the shallower depth of field that you're looking for. And in an extreme situation like you just described, you would probably need like a 2 to 4 stop ND filter at least. Maybe even, like a 10 stop. If you're maxed out on your shutter speed, then you're gonna need a bigger D5300. I think ND, or I think on the D5300 the max is 1/4000. So in that case, you would need to. I'm gonna need this other can. You would need to get a pretty big ND filter. Big meaning strong. Strong meaning, like I said, about 6 to 10 stops. And that'll allow you to get that aperture opened up wider to get that depth of field that you're looking for. This can's about done. Yeah. All right. To be honest, 16 is a sweet point, then 64 gigabytes, and only for applications that will support it. Yeah, 9 million gigs of RAM, right? That would be pretty amazing. That would be pretty crazy, but it would be pretty awesome too in some cases. But I'm only running 16 gigs on my streaming computer, but that's because the stream doesn't require the RAM as much as it requires the processor, which is why Tim helped me pick out this stuff, which is why we got the Intel Core i7 that we're using in this computer here. Whew, I feel like I'm sticky everywhere. Some reality shows are simply sneering at a different class. The Honey Boo Boo made that family a bit of money, but I can't even. I've never watched the Honey Boo Boo stuff, but yeah, it seemed to me like they certainly were sort of, putting them on display and saying, look at this and how ridiculous these people are. Hey, Thrills, how's it going? Oops. Whew. Thank you so much. You're the best photographers. Well, thank you, Selim. I appreciate that. I really do. It means a lot to me, and I'm happy to be able to help. That's why I do what I do. Also because it's fun, but also because I want to help. All right, so this is obviously the backdrop for the shoot. You said the i7 was pretty. Yeah, it's totally. Like, in fact, let me take a look right now. My processor, yeah, this is it. Now, granted, we're only using one camera right now, but the processor is running at 17% right now. And this is, streaming. It's awesome. It's perfect. So if I double it up, even if I had another stream, if that doubles the processor used to 38%, let's say, 40%, I'm still sitting in really good shape, which is perfect. So Thrills, we are building a set piece for the next live photo shoot. Specifically, that shoot is going to be on March 24th, and this is about dead. I think this is the last spray I'm going to get out of this here. Ah, that hurt. So this is going to be the backdrop of the photo shoot on the 24th. That's what we're doing here. And this is going to be a V-flat when I'm done with it. I'm going to move that stool. I need to be able to move this stuff around better. Man, I can't wait for the day that I build a bigger, better studio. I love this studio. Don't get me wrong. I love this. Lightroom is a bit of a turd sometimes too. Yeah, it totally is. And what I actually ended up doing was, on this computer here, I actually didn't even install Lightroom. I was initially, because I thought I needed it. I need to move a couple more things. This board, and this thing here. There we go. I thought I needed Lightroom on this computer for my tethering, but I don't, because I can just tether with the Olympus software, and it'll actually use less resources off the computer, which will be perfect, because less resources means it'll run more better. That's good English. And it'll still allow me to do what I want to do, and that's perfect. So give it a little shaky, 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 and let's glue some paper. Zsa Zsa Gabor died at age 99. Huh, I didn't know that. I didn't see that going up all over Facebook when that happened. And that was in 2016 when everybody was freaking out about everybody else who was dying. All right. I don't follow. Are you going i7 or trying out? I saw that AMD option. Hello, Subvids. How's it going, man? Wait for the day when you post your 24th shoot. Yes, that's coming. I'm excited for that shoot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and that's what this is for. So hopefully you guys can join for that. It'll be the 24th. It'll be at the same time, like starting at 1 p.m. photo shoot, like I do these live streams right here, right now. So that'll be a good thing too. Which side of that do I want? I want that side. Boop, doop, 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 doop. So what are you guys doing this weekend? Enjoying a sober holiday. Woman accused of posting nude photos online. Oh, there's all kinds of weird stuff in the news that I didn't pay any attention to. You know, I always eagerly wait to see your stuff on social media. I appreciate that, Thrills. I really do. It sometimes honestly still amazes me that that I've had the success that I've had. And I'm super grateful for it. So I am going to take a moment here, not to apologize, but to say thank you to all of you guys, because I really do want to make sure everybody knows that I appreciate the hell out of the fact that you come to spend time with me and you enjoy my videos and you watch my live streams and all that sort of stuff. So if I haven't said it when you've ever been watching one of my videos, I'm going to say it right now. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really mean that, and I really appreciate that. You guys are the reason I do this. Thank you, Subvids. I used to be a very staunch AMD guy, but to support the little guy, but now that I have more specific needs, i7 needs to be what's happening. Yeah, God, my hand is just so disgusting right now because of this glue. Ugh, it's so gross. I used to be an AMD fan as well, back when I still was in the PC world, but I never really built my own computers either, so I was just kind of a fan for the sake of being a fan. But the good thing is, having a company like AMD is good for us because, of course, more competition in the market is always good for us as the consumer. And that's why I like it. Almost done with this one. Let's see. Tim fixing my in-laws' fence, maybe helping someone with their programming, right? Sunday's up in the air, but thinking on some workshop configuring. Cool. This weekend I'll be going out to discover a new location. Awesome. So this weekend what I'm doing, I'll share this again. Let's see. Christian says, good friend of mine builds computers, so mostly just going with her recommendations. See, that's what I did. I went with Tim's recommendations because he also builds computers. So what I'm doing this weekend is working on the new video course that I started working on this week, which is the editing and post-processing Photoshop and Lightroom course that I'm going to have for available later this year. I'm not sure exactly when, but probably, hopefully like late spring, early summer. That's the plan. Also, my wife and I are both going to get massages on Saturday. And then tonight we're going over to my father-in-law's and I'm making homemade pizza. It's ripping one more right in the middle of these. Like so. Okay. Woohoo! All right, so now I got to tape these together and cover up the seam. So let me clear this loose newspaper out of the way. And I'm going to need enough room to actually do this. That's going to be the trick, right? And I'm going to need to tape them together in such a way that they'll actually fold, which means I need to leave some space in there. I can't just slam the edges together and slam some tape in there. So let's pick all this garbage up, put it in here, slide this over here, and I think what I'm going to do is make this tape job happen. Okay. Whew. I have a 32 gigabyte RAM, i7, 6th gen, but it's still a piece of shit. That sucks. Yeah, that really sucks, Thrills. I'm sorry to hear that. It's no good when, and I mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love my Mac computers, but boy, Christian Jones says, Christian, that video is coming next Tuesday. So it's 2 days after your birthday. It'll be up on my YouTube channel. And happy early birthday to you, bud. Happy early birthday. That's super awesome of you to share that with us. All right, so this needs to be able to bend into a V shape, which means I need to leave a gap in between here, like something like that. So what I'm going to do is run. Spyros, you followed me on Twitter. I'm tech mad. I'm hoping to get my camera out with the children. Ooh, cool. I got to scroll back. I'm not going to touch my computer with this. I wish this was a touchscreen right now. I do like Mac. Sandy, an iMac can get a virus. iMacs don't get targeted by virus writers as much because Windows is such a prolific platform. So when people say a Mac can't get a virus, they're actually lying. The truth is a Mac can get a virus, but Macs generally tend to not get viruses because they are not targeted as much. K2, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to be a good guy. No problem, Christian. I honestly, I wanted to get it up sooner, but I kind of had my schedule already set with my videos, and I didn't want to mess it up because it might not seem like a big deal to just say, okay, well, I'm going to upload this video today instead of that video, but it's actually kind of a big deal because of how everything works in terms of my video setup. I know that doesn't explain it very well, but yeah, that's why I didn't have it up earlier for you, and I do apologize for that. All right, so I'm trying to say, this is like a total not precise tape job here, guys. But the goal here is just to create a joint so that it can flex into the V shape. And once I have this down, I'm going to run a piece of tape along the front edge and then attempt to flip it over and run a piece of tape along the back edge too, lengthwise. I'm going to go to the other side and get that. I am located in Wisconsin, K2. Sandy, most of the virus are made to target Windows operating systems. Yeah, exactly. Sandy, you really don't need one. Okay. And Windows, I mean, Windows are good computers. It's just, for me, I really, really, really like Mac OS. I mean, like, I really like Mac OS. It really likes me. Did I apologize again? What did I apologize for? Like, I'm not kidding. I don't even realize I did it. What did I apologize for, Christian? Oh my God. What did I apologize for? I literally don't even, I have no idea what I apologized for. I didn't even realize that I was doing it. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay, this is the reachy reach part. I could probably go back over there, but whatever. This is gonna work just fine. Okay. One more piece and that should take care of it. Yeah, that's the thing. Windows has the flexibility that Mac doesn't allow. And Windows has the custom, the hardware power, if you want it, right? Which is why I built this PC rather than buying another Mac out here for my streaming, because another Mac wouldn't have the juice that I need to do what I'm doing here with this computer. 2:15, we're doing pretty darn good for time here, folks. Okay, this is going to be the trick. I got to stand it up. I'm going to take this mic down. I'm not using it right now anyway, and it's going to get in my way because it's a little lower than that light. And I cut these to be tall enough to just clear these lights. See, but Mac is superior by far in certain applications. I do agree with that. It's not that there aren't good applications on Windows, but shit. Oh, I just swore. Sorry, guys. That totally slipped out. And I just apologized for it, too. Woohoo! But I'm not going to apologize for apologizing. How's that, Christian? Oh, goodness. It is such an ingrained habit at this point that I don't even realize I'm doing it. Facts is facts. I would love to have a Mac, but I know PCs very well. I mean, I'm living in both worlds now, and I'm very happy with this PC out here in the studio. Very happy with it. so just going to create these joints. I wonder, yeah, I don't really need to worry about it all that much. My only goal is that this stand up for a day. Honestly, after this, I don't know if I'm going to keep this thing. This is the bad thing about building sets, right? Like I build these sets, and then once I'm done with the shoot, I don't need the set anymore. You'll let it slide. Vincent, but with a little logical thought, PCs can be just fine. I totally missed what Vincent said. The chat's moving too fast for me, guys. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Before I run the tape across this the other way, the long way, I'm going to stand this up and make 100% sure that I have enough flex in here to make my corner so that it'll stand, which I should. But I want to make sure. There we go. That's basically what it's going to be. And then Angela's going to be in here posing, and I'm going to light her up. So I need to fix up this seam, and then this will be done, and I'll still need to make the floor, but that's going to be a different day because I'm not going to have time today. I've got some stuff I got to do after this stream. What time is it? 2:16? I'm going to try to finish the seam up before we wrap this up today. I got to Instagram this, though. No, I'm not going to touch my phone. I want to Instagram this, but my hands are just nothing but glue at this point. I mean, honestly, I think the tape I've got on there is good enough. I'm just going to leave it. So we're going to go this route and just lay it back down so that I can cover up the seam. Let's see, I still remember my first PC. I threw it in water 3 years ago. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? My first computer, this will be fun. What was your first computer? Your very first computer. If it was something meaningful, let us know. My first computer was an Apple II rip-off computer. So it was based on the Apple platform before, because there was a short period of time, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a short period of time where Apple allowed other manufacturers to make computers that ran on their platform, like you can do with Windows now. And then they shut that down. And they went all their hardware, all their software together. And so it was a laser. The computer was a laser, but it was an Apple II clone. And man, that was what started my love of, are the pages fairly upright? They're not meant to be fairly upright. They're meant to be just all over the place. Thank you, Shetty Like. Vic20 here. Started programming around. Oh, Vic20, awesome. ZX81, that's cool. I don't even know what a ZX81 is. Nope, that's the dead one. Okay, where did I put my spray? There it is. Here's my spray. So what I'm going to do is get some newspaper. I'm going to run like some of this kind of thing, and then I'll flip these folded up edges down that I have. So like, we'll do that one right there. I'm going to need to do another one across it. Atari XE, that's awesome. Just use loose newspapers on the floor. I thought about that, Jeff, and I might just do that. Hey, Toby, how's it going? An Atari, oh man, that's awesome. A friend of mine had a Commodore 64, and man, was I jealous of that thing. Oh, I wanted that so bad. But I'll tell you what, when I got that Laser 2, oh, I was so happy. And it wasn't actually my computer. It was a family computer, but I got to use it whenever I wanted, which was super cool. and super fun. And that started my love of computers. I also started programming, but then I stopped learning programming in middle school, which I regret to this day. I wish I had continued to learn how to program and work with programming languages, because it's a skill that I could use today. I sort of screwed up there a little bit, but do this. That should bring this back here. And okay, let's just keep filling this seam up here. Packard Bell with Windows 95. Nice. My first own computer, that was my computer, like my personal computer, was also a Packard Bell. It actually had Windows 3.1 on it. And I remember when Windows 95 came out, my roommate in college managed to get a beta of it. And I can't remember why or how he got the beta, but he installed it, and he was like super protective of it, and he wouldn't let anybody else use the install disks and pirate it, basically, onto their computers, which kind of upset a few people, I think. I'm sticking, there we go. But I upgraded with my second computer, and Windows 95 was pretty awesome. Oh, first time watching, just found you. Well, thanks for joining, Toby. I appreciate it. If you're not familiar with my channel or what I do, this is all about photography and helping other people learn. I'm building a set piece for a photo shoot right now, and actually going to be wrapping up my stream here in about 10 or 15 minutes, basically as soon as I finish this scene. But I have my tutorial videos that come out every Tuesday. I do a live stream talk show with my buddy Mark every Wednesday. And then on Fridays, I do these, I call them live edits, but I'm obviously not editing. I'm doing something else today. Hey, Todd, how's it going? I think mine was an abacus. That's pretty funny, Todd. All right, so close to done. And I have so much more newspaper than I thought I would need, which is great because that means that I'll have enough newspaper for the other parts of this, which are going to be an important aspect of things, which have to do with Angela and what she's going to look like for this photo shoot. I'm going to have to like hit a couple of spots here, but we're doing pretty good with most of this. I think I'll flip this one out like that. Abacus for real. I switched to Mac about maybe 6 years ago now, and it was mainly because I just kept having problems with my Windows computers. They just kept dying on me. And, you know, part of it was probably that I was buying, like, not very great hardware, but boy, was it frustrating. And it got to the point where I was like, well, I'm so sick of these computers just continually going down on me. And my wife and I were both tired of dealing with it, and so we just decided, okay, forget it, we're going to get a Mac. Because at that time, the advertising worked. That whole Mac versus PC thing that Apple had going on, that was the ad campaign at the time, and it totally worked. Like, it totally bought our loyalty. Now, the interesting thing is, I've wanted a Mac ever since the very first iMac was introduced. I saw that and I was like, that's the computer that I want. That's the computer of the future. And I don't know if I 100% agree with that idea anymore, but I always wanted one of those candy colored iMacs. And I never got one. Never ever got one. But that's okay. Because I got Mac when the time was right for me to get Mac, and I've always been happy with it ever since I've had it. There are frustrations to it, no lie, but Macs have served me well since I started using them. Okay. Haha, Todd, you must be older than me. I keep grabbing like the sports and the comic sections. Yeah. All right, this is almost done, guys. Not a moment too soon, since the nozzle is starting to stick to this finger now too. May start here. Want to learn programming? I do. I really do want to learn programming. The issue is, how's the weather today? I'm not wearing my cap. Yeah. The issue is I don't feel like I have the time to give to learning programming at this point, because of the other stuff that I've got going on and the projects that I'm working on and like making my videos and things. It's always been a thing, like even now, like I said, it's something that I do want to learn, but I haven't taken the time to actually learn it. And I would love to. I honest to God would love to learn programming still yet now today. Yes. That's the long answer to that question. Look, the little gap right there, and then we're golden. I'm trying, like I said, that's a comic section. Let's get some New York Times in there. Okay, here we go. This is like the last bit. Bloop. Oh, yeah. Ah. I'm stuck. Ah. There we go. Okay. See, at one point you can access the internet on Apple only a PC, back when there were only 2 browsers, right? Just configured a Mac. If I built a PC for $4,500, the Mac would cost me, yeah, right? Holy crap, you're still using AOL? Well, I've been working in photography either. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, Jose. Okay, this is it. I'm going to stand it up. Let's take a look at this finished piece. And then we're going to wrap this baby up. And then I'm going to go clean my fingers, because these are just, look at my hands. Look at that. It's like, it's so terrible. I'm going to stand it up from over there. All right. So now I'm just going to try to get it into place. I'll probably need like a person to help me move this around when it's time for the shoot, but need to get it out from under here. That's the basic idea right there. Boom. I'll scoot it way back there, but this, and then newspapers all over the floor. That's it. Ugh, I'm going to have to touch my computer with these hands in order to stop the stream. Good night, Shetty Like. Thank you so much. Do you find it better to make your own backgrounds than use Photoshop, Rob? Yeah, I mean, I want to learn how, because I know how to do it, but I haven't done it enough that I'm good at doing it, where you take the background and change it in the photo. That's something I want to do. But I like doing things practically. Practically meaning in camera, like practical effects when they talked about Star Wars, right? Not that there's anything wrong with the edits, but it is something that I like because it is real. And I know it's real, and I know what it looks like because I can see it, and I can light it, and I can make it look exactly the way I want as I'm shooting it. So that's part of the reason that I do this way versus doing it in Photoshop. Do you have some photo shoots with that background for us to see? Not yet, Jose. The first time I will use this will be on March 24th. So if you go to my YouTube channel, just click my name, you'll see the live stuff that's coming up, and you'll see 2 weeks from today, the live photo shoot is already scheduled. And it'll start at 1 p.m. It's March 24th, so mark your calendars if you want to see this in use and see the photos that we create with it. So on that note, I am going to wrap this up and say goodbye and gingerly touch my computer to stop this stream. I'll be in Wisconsin at the end of the month going to Devil's Lake. Ooh, K2, Devil's Lake is actually not that far from me. It's about 45 minutes to an hour south of where I live. Just trying to log in to my computer so I can stop the stream. Stream. Okay, here we go. Live, where's my live control stream? There we go, boom. I'm gonna say